Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for being with me tonight here. We are in week 4, part 13 of our journey here in ECE101. So congratulations, we are now in week 4. So you should be very proud of yourself and all the efforts you are, contributing to your, class. And it just, I know it takes a lot of time management and time to be successful and a lot of hard work. So congratulations, you should be very proud of yourself. This week, we are just going to, really focus on our lesson plan design, which is going to be our discussion thread that you're going to do this week and work on. And also you're going to present it live in our live session. So I'm really excited to see all the different lesson plan ideas and just looking forward to sharing ideas with each other because others can also use some support with that as well. So the purpose of sharing is just for us to get some insight from others and get other creative ideas because as we know, teaching is a community and team effort. So other ideas could help different children in our classrooms and vice versa. So that's why the collaboration with the lesson planning is important to kind of share all together. And if you need any support, with that and creating your lesson plan design, please reach out before Wednesday so we have enough time to get that completed. And also, please don't be nervous. It's a fun time for you just to share your ideas on your lesson plan. And, it's going to be fun. And I really just want you to have fun with it. And it's a great time for you to practice sharing, with others in more of a forum. Again, if you need support with that, please reach out. Now moving along with our journal blog. It is going to be like a reflective writing piece. So it's really just to reflect as an educator. So I'm trying to get you to dive deep into some self-reflecting areas that you've grown from, areas that you still want to learn more about. But I also want to really highlight all the efforts and all the new ideas that you have learned and really highlight that. So please share all those areas so I can understand areas that you've learned and that would be really helpful for me to see that. And then assignment 4 is going to be creating an ECE manual. So a lot of information in this manual we would have already done in prior weeks. So please don't get overwhelmed with the list of requirements that are in this manual, but yet look at it as a great resource for you in the classroom. I've always found that these manuals brought so much calmness, less anxiety, because that was just such a helpful tool for any teacher coming into the classroom, new teachers coming, just any supervisors, anyone who really wants to understand the day in your classroom, they would go to that manual for support. So that's why there's going to be a list of things that you're going to need to put in that manual to support all the areas of the classroom. I am going to welcome you to also include other areas if you feel that that specifically pertains to your classroom. We can talk further about that one-on-one. If you'd like to meet with me, please email me and I'll love to schedule time to talk more about that. Because again, every classroom is different. This is just a broad manual of some basic areas that are, supported in a classroom overall. Therefore, we also need to talk about your teaching hours and reflection. So this is a big week for that. By the end of this week, your 45 hours should be completed. It does require your supervisor to sign one piece of paper with all your hours listed, dated, and just making sure that that is all completed. And you could submit those on Canvas to me. And then lastly, live session reflections are due for extra credit. So that would be your last opportunity to get some extra credit for this course. So I do encourage you to do it. And I look forward to starting week 4 with you. All right, so let's get into it. So week 4, course objective 13. So the goal here is for you to be able to involve parents, families, and communities into your classroom environment. So how do we do that? There's so many, obviously, ideas that kind of come to mind right now with involvement in the classroom. But one thing that also comes to my mind is every school environment is different in terms of what they allow, right? Meaning with parent involvement. Of course, you want the parents involved with the child and the learning process, but I'm talking more about getting them into the environment. So the question to reflect on is, how have you included parents in your classroom environment? Have you in the past? Have you never done that? Does your school allow it or does not allow it? So I really would love to kind of hear that feedback, because it's interesting to me that sometimes some school environments don't welcome as much parent involvement in their classrooms, which I found very surprising, just because I do feel like that component is necessary so that the parent is included in the process, 1, and 2, that the child also benefits from that in all areas of their development, and that the parent, really sees them blossom as well. So it's just interesting because there is very differences in environments when it comes to that. So mindfulness of parent and family involvement. So why it matters. So why it matters to have that involvement is because it builds positive association to school and home. It's important that children and parents, build a positive association, because in some situations, when parents come to the classroom, it's more looked upon in a negative way, maybe because of maybe something that had happened, or maybe a behavioral concern, or something of more a negative effect, but yet we want to build positive association. So in order to do that, we have to bring more positiveness to the classroom with having parents come in and be a part of the community, which I think is very important. Development of children and learning outcomes. So it really improves that area of children, and many studies show that the learning outcomes are supported there. Social networks, parents become more involved, other parents meet other parents, and kind of build that social network and community, and that's important to have among a school. The behavior with the children is positive because of the family involvement and parents being more present in the environment, the safety aspect as well, and then the consistency in all environments. So because the children are seeing parents and family in all environments of importance, it's very meaningful, and it's such a great learning experience for them, and they feel the support, they feel the love, they feel that their parents are walking through the process with them. And what an amazing feeling to have, right? As a child, to have that. Research does show that parent involvement really, has positive child outcomes in the areas of social competence, the cognitive development, the communication skills, the literacy development, the vocabulary growth, the expressive language that they give, the comprehension skills, the positive engagement with peers, adults, and learning. So there's so many areas that have such positive outcomes when they have parents participate, in activities and in the classroom. when the home and school relationships are very great at communication and allowing participation. And then also, the whole, child parent conversations at home and reading at home and incorporating things that you do in school that you do at home, to some degree, is important. Because I also don't think having a lot of work, say from school to home, to do with parents is something that I would recommend. I'm talking more about interacting with like literacy and reading at home and spending that quality time together, because reading is a big component at school, right? That the children do experience. So, and if that's listening to stories or reading themselves, they all equally are very important. So some community efforts and benefits would be, so with other partners, so it builds a communication structure that promotes contact and information sharing between, state officials and early learning leaders. So it kind of opens that door when we have that support of partners and communication, within our community. In addition, community needs. So maintaining an ongoing effort to community needs is like having support with decision and embracing innovation. So as things change, in terms of needs and decisions, it's important to have everybody involved so we're all under the same understanding and we're all going in the same direction, right? And also just research, using data to document progress and guide decisions. So research says a lot of how positive outcomes are developed. So again, having that parent and family involvement and community really supports the progress and builds, great decisions that become final decisions, overall. But when we're included in that process altogether, we can really understand what best meets our community need based on our children, right? So that's why it's really important to do that. So some strategies for parent involvement. So again, depending on your environment, parent involvement can be done in many different ways. It doesn't necessarily just mean having parents in the classroom, as meaning encouraging volunteering. So sometimes you might have things outside of the school, and you can encourage them to participate in that. If that's field trips, if that's just other events at the school, you can definitely get them to engage in that. One thing that I thought was very beneficial for one of the schools that I directed is that I had parent education nights. And what that promoted, one was educating them on what we're learning at the moment in their specific classroom for their child. Seeing the visual aspect of what the material is. I also would, have the children, who wanted to kind of demonstrate how that material works. So they really got a concrete understanding of what their children are doing, why they're investing their time and even finances to have their children, at the school. And so I really spent a lot of time with that. And so that then led to including them in decision making. So I would come and bring up different ideas that maybe we're choosing to try or do or change. What do you think? And kind of a forum of just open dialogue. And I feel like that really promoted so much involvement because they felt heard, they felt that they were contributing, and that they really felt respected too. And then also just getting to know them better, meaning the parents. So getting to know what your parents' needs are too, not just the children, because we all together have to build a positive framework so we can communicate well in all areas. So each child benefits. So just really finding what works for them is really, kind of the way to go. Other areas would be, being welcoming, obviously, when you have a new child, a new family, always, every day, welcoming every child and family as part of the team, communicating frequently in ways that works best for families. So each family might be different. So some may want a phone call, an email, a text. Again, whatever your policies are at your school, they may differ. So some of those might not be available, but just writing, or suggesting different ideas for you. One thing that I did in a classroom is we always had all about me days, little sheets that teachers would fill out. It was a quick check mark. It wasn't like something they had to elaborate about every day. It was just more just saying one little clip about their day, in which they did that at nap time when the children were sleeping. They filled out these little pieces of paper so parents could kind of, get an idea of what their day was, or maybe something they learned, or just highlighting something about that child that happened that day outside socially. It doesn't need to be, again, a lengthy paragraph. It was just more a quick statement or sentence. So that was really fun, for them to read, and they loved and enjoyed that. And also just teaching families how to support student success, encouraging families to speak up whenever needs are there, and just really encouraging them to share respectfully what they need, but in a timely manner, because sometimes I would feel like some parents would want solutions very quickly, but yet really not sharing fully how they're feeling. And then we spend so much time not having those solutions as quickly as we can. And it just sometimes didn't have a positive outcome. So I really encourage those conversations to be had often and openly. And then also just collaborating with the community partners and having that support, with the families. So that, again, feeling included in the decision making and the planning process. They want to feel heard and respected. So I really feel that those are great solutions for that. And lastly, I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. Again, we have made it to week 4. Congratulations. You should be very proud of all your efforts and all the time that you're putting into this course. But until next time, we'll be doing part 14 of week 4, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.